All right. Arielle, welcome.
Hello, hello. Hi, how is everyone doing? I want to just say thank you so much. I had to jump off for a second. Somehow I didn't have audio, but I did see your messages in there. So thank you so much. I'm excited. I'm excited to see that you're excited. And I'm going to jump right in because we do have that hard stop. And I want to make sure we have time for any questions and potentially even exercise. And so thank you so much for joining me. Today, we'll be talking about scaling your business without sacrificing your integrity, going viral, or burning out. Just a little breakdown of what you can expect to receive today. You'll be basically hearing 3 reasons why your business is not currently scaling yet, actionable steps for you to overcome those reasons, and if we have some times to permit, an exercise. If not, I'll jump straight into questions because I want to make sure I'm answering everything that I can hear from you. I won't spend too much time here because I feel like Rachel did a great job in just explaining who I am and what I offer. The only thing that I want to make sure I say is what's really, really important and near and dear to me is that I really want to see more women win through entrepreneurship. And so I help women founders take strength first approach to building a profitable, aligned business. So let's jump right into this and get excited. My hope is that when you leave from here today, you feel excited, you feel activated, but also you have action steps to implement, to put into place, to just go. Alrighty. So the biggest one here is the 3 reasons you aren't scaling and how to overcome them. Let's jump straight into number 1. You are not operating from a growth mindset. Now, here's the thing. I know everyone's going to be like, oh my God, I always hear this, but it's so, so true. And here's why. Your number 1 asset in your business is your mindset. It's not the revenue. It's not the results that you bring in. It's not even the relationships. It's not all of the degrees, certifications, courses, not even your marketing. It truly is your mindset. What you believe drives everything that you do in your business. And so it will dictate if you take that action that I talked about earlier, or if you don't take action. It'll also dictate the impact of revenue or lack of revenue. And truly, it really just impacts overall your personal life as well, because if the business isn't doing well, then personally that can impact how you're feeling. And so mindset is truly, truly, truly important. And because it is Women's History Month, I just want to take a step back into some historic figures that truly showed what it was to embrace growth mindset and overcome fear. And so we have Katharine Graham. She was appointed a CEO after her husband committed suicide. During this time in 1972, women were not seen in roles like this. Like, you wouldn't find a woman in a role like this. So the only way for her to attain a role like this was inheriting it through, unfortunately, her husband's death and suicide. During this time, this woman was faced with so much. Not only did she lose her significant other, but she also was placed as a CEO of her over several in a male-dominated role, so over several men, over a Fortune 500 company. When she took over the Washington Press, there was a big, big, big scandal that was going on. And what had to take place for her was her to decide, like, okay, I'm already in this role. People aren't happy seeing me in this role. And now I have to go and make a decision to potentially publish an expose on one of the president or on the president at the time. So a lot of people were looking at her to see, like, well, what would she do? One, but also, like, can she hold the weight? And so think about the mindset that she could have had. Like, man, people don't want me here. I just lost my husband. I'm carrying this whole company that was never mine in the first place. And everyone, all eyes are on me, hoping I either fail or succeed, depending on which avenue it's coming from. And now I have to go and make a life-changing decision for my company, as well as when I release this information for the people who were impacted by it. But she didn't let this backlash keep her from doing it. She went ahead and she went forth with it, which, later ended in the resignation, part of the resignation for Nixon's presidency. But that fear didn't keep her. It didn't keep her. That mindset could have been like, well, man, no one wants me here. This is a big thing. Let me just not publish this. Let me sweep it under the rug. I already have enough heat that I'm carrying. it's a lot of fear that I'm holding and a lot of responsibility. There's still people who are employed here if this business shuts down because of it. Like, not only have I shut down my husband's business, but I also unemployed several thousand people under me. So it just was a lot to carry and a lot of fear, but she moved forward in it anyways. And so I said all that to say is the action step that we have to take in Mind Step to overcome these challenges is to shift it. When we're shifting our mindset, it doesn't mean like, oh, okay, I'm going to think happy thoughts now. No, it actually means taking small granular steps to build the momentum that you need. We're not always going to be motivated. We're not always going to be in a good space and feel super confident and excited, but we need to still have that courage or that small gumption, are remembering our why to take that small micro mini step towards what we really want to accomplish. Having your why in the back of your mind is really, really important because it helps you continue to build that momentum. Because again, motivation is not going to hold you. It just isn't. Confidence is not always going to hold you. It's fleeting. These things are permanently there. But courage, bravery, the gumption, the ambition, the determination, these things will all hold you in pushing forth and shifting out of a mindset of stagnation into a growth mindset and thinking like, okay, no, I don't know the how, but I know the why. And so I'm going to go forth anyways as I figure it out. One of the biggest things that I always was encouraged by some of my coaches was to celebrate the micro mini wins. I mean, you might not be that large, huge client or that large huge investor or that large, huge deal. It might just be the fact that I applied for that financial help or I asked for that sale. That's a micro mini win. Some people need to overcome the fear in doing that. And so don't let not knowing the answers keep you from knowing the answer 100%, keeping you from moving forward. All righty. So the second one we have here is you are not using math in your business. And I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of us are not. And so I'm going to take back some more historic figures here in this beautiful Women's History Month. And I would like for you to meet Madam C.J. Walker. She was one of the first self-made millionaires in America, and she sold hair products for hair treatment to Black women in 1910. Another woman who was selling and an entrepreneur in a time where it wasn't really known to be something similar to this. The reason why I mentioned her is because during this time, a lot of the hair products that she was selling was not in large brand stores or was not easily accessible, as well as Black women were not allowed to go in some of these stores. And so the only way that she was able to present this product and to receive and to get this information in front of her ideal client, which just so happened to be Black women, she had to go around and advertise in churches and, ask to give demonstrations, asked to speak in front of people. But before she got to these churches, what she did was figure out how much it actually cost her to be able to provide this service. So that include the traveling to get to the church, that include any fee that they charge at the church, that included her making the product, that included the time she spent. So all these things were taken into consideration during a time where Black women were only making $10 to $20 a month. And so she was charging them 20% of their monthly income. And it wasn't because she was trying to, take them for everything that they had. She was truly charging them the value for the offer that was at hand. So I want us to think about, when we do math, I want us to think about Madam C.J. Walker and how she didn't allow, one, her being the first self-made millionaire, keep her from moving forward, but also she didn't stop at, I'm just going to charge this small amount because I'm afraid that they might not be able to afford it. If the necessity is there, if what you have to offer is going to make my life better in any way, I will find a way, mostly, to be able to purchase or sign up or get involved or invest in whatever it is that you have to bring that relief to my life. And at the time, it was the difference between these women being able to tame their hair in a professional way, for them to receive jobs. So it kind of was like, oh, if I don't tame my hair to look professional in the eyes of this employer, then I might not be able to receive income from this job. They might skip over me and pick someone else. And so it really was a pain for them, and they found it worth it. And she went on to be a millionaire. She went on to open up a location, and she went on to employ several women under her. I believe it was like 150 people under her. So there was a lot that came from the gumption that she had when she decided to do math in her business when coming up with the price point for what she should charge. So when we don't use math, the things that take place are typically, what we do is we make decisions with our feelings. Now, here's the thing. Feelings are fleeting. They will not be reliable all the time, because at some point that feeling will no longer exist. And when it comes to numbers, you don't want to put feelings in the mix. You want to just look at the math. The math doesn't lie. If you're doing it correctly, the math does not lie. Another thing is, when we don't use math, we end up undercharging, because here's the thing. Instead of sitting down, placing down how much it costs to fulfill the offer, to create the offer, to serve the person, to deliver it, whatever it may take you, to, instead of considering all of what it takes and how much it will cost for you to be able to fulfill, we're looking around left and right, asking, well, what are you charging? Or online researching, well, what's the minimum or what's the average rate? And here's the thing. Most women are undercharging. So if we're constantly looking left and right, we're just picking up what someone else is already undercharging, and it's not really actual information that's going to impact us in our business so that we can begin to grow. And so don't rely on your competitors. Don't rely on the going market. Rely on the truth. And the truth is how much and how long and what all does it take for you to be able to generate this service and provide it. The next thing that we do is when we don't do math, we typically think, well, the lowest price wins. And that could not be furthest from the truth. The lowest price is the quickest way to the bottom, is what really the answer is to that. You must do math instead. So I'm just going to take it back to Madam C.J. Walker, who charged 20% of the women's monthly income for her product back in 1920. This is 20% of the monthly income. That means like all the money that they're making that month, they found the service valuable enough to pay for it and get and receive the benefits that they would from utilizing her services. So if she can do this back in 1910, it is definitely time for us to stop severely undercharging for our services in 2025. I did not update that. All right, so that's action step number 2 is do the math first. Alrighty, so when you're calculating your efforts, as I mentioned before, add up all necessary action steps to complete the task, plus anything and everything that you can't do. So think about it when, for instance, for me, if I were to work with a client and they were like, hey, I need immediate service turned around. I want to work with you next week, take up your time if the availability is there for VIP day or something like that. This means I can't serve anyone else because I've now given my day to this person. That needs to be accounted for in your work, for the money that you aren't able to make, for the business that you aren't able to put into place, for the things that you aren't able to do for your other clients, because you are contributing to creating a solution and providing it for this particular person who's purchasing your offer. And so you really want to think about everything down to the research. If it takes additional research, let's say, for instance, it's something new or it's something you haven't done before and it takes research. All these things need to be taken into consideration. The preparation, payment to others. Let's say, for instance, you might need to outsource a couple of things of the activities. Those things need to be taken into consideration as well. And I won't read off everything here, but you really do want to make sure that you're taking everything into consideration. I'm just peeking up at the time here. One of the things that is also really important is making sure that you are considering any follow-up work. If what you deliver is something that after it's delivered, you need to come back and do some future work, make sure you're including that. You don't want to leave that off. And here's a simple example of, let's just say I wanted to make $100,000 for the year. And I'm going to give an example of what I could potentially put out to make $100,000 for the year. So I can put out a digital product and I could charge $20, but I would need to sell it to 5,000 people. So you see what I'm doing here? I know what I want to make for the year. I'm now working backwards to figure out how I can attain what I'm making for the year. And let's say it's a project. All right. So I'm going to charge a little bit more because the project takes more time. That's $1,000. I only need to give that to now sell that to 100 people to hit my goal. So on and so forth. But if you think about it, when I get all the way down to the retainer client, now the retainer client is going to receive high service, not that everyone else wouldn't, but the high touch points, my time, my energy, my effort, my expertise. So this is a higher price point. And if at that point, I only need to sell 8 for the year, if my goal is truly 100,000. Now, I'm not saying this is a one size fit all because it really truly is not. But when you are thinking about putting together your offer, when you are thinking about the revenue that you want to make for the year, do the math and work backwards. This is just one example in your business where you need to utilize math, but work backwards. If you know that you want to make a certain amount, what is it that you need to produce? Thinking about the time in your availability. Some of us are working still 9 to 5. Some of us have children, whatever the case may be. There are stringent times that we have available. So can we produce 25 packages for people in the allotted time that we have? If not, we might need to think about something that only requires us to produce 20 or 15 or 10 and so on and so forth. All right, the number 3. All right, this is the biggest one for me. This is the one that is the most important to me. And it is, you are not focused on the right things. A quote that I love so dearly is to keep the main thing the main thing. And this is a really good reminder when you are coming up just against a lot of things, that's distractions, imposter syndrome, other folks, shiny object syndrome, whatever can cause a distraction. You really want to think, okay, stay focused. I committed to offering, serving, producing, writing, influencing, whatever it might be, fill in the blank for this amount of time. And that's a commitment that I'm going to keep, even if there are many, 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 many distractions around me. So these are just a few distractions, and it's not a one size fit all. It doesn't mean it's for everyone. It doesn't mean every single thing on this list will apply to you, but think really, truly hard and consistently on not consistently, think really hard and long on in the past, what has been some things that have kept me from being focused. And so one of the biggest things that I've found is lack of consistency. Consistency is key to making anything work. You should definitely be committed to something long enough to see if 1, it works, 2, you like it, 3, it's in demand. Like if you're changing something every 3 weeks, you can't record all that. There's no metrics you can take that will allow you to record all that information in such a short period of time. Now, this is not you hearing me say commit to something for the next 3 years. That's clearly not working. It's just to say you need to give something enough time for you to actually see, okay, does this work? Is there a demand? Do I enjoy it? Do I want to continue to offer it? Is there some tweaks that could be made to make it better, more palatable, more desirable, more enjoyable? Another thing is that fun, shiny object syndrome. If we're over here chasing every single guru's top strategy or must do, or this is the one thing, we're going to get burnt out very, very quickly. This is a huge distraction because we see this person over here successful using this particular strategy. So I'm going to drop everything that I've been working on that probably is working just differently to go and implement what they're doing. Here's the thing. You might not have the same strengths as them. You might not have the same services as them. You might not even have the same clients as them, which means your business model might look different. Your marketing strategy might look different. And so staying focused and keeping the main thing is highly, highly, highly important. Rubbernecking. I was afraid to put this down because I heard that this means something different. But what I'm talking about is looking around and looking at your neighbor to the left or to the right, your business bestie, your person that you are looking to as a mentor, and trying to facelift what they have done from them and place it onto yourself. Just as I mentioned before, there are so many things that are different, so many nuances in your businesses that could be bipolar different from that other person's business, which is why it may not be working. That's not always the answer, but it may not be working. Doom strolling is another one. And that is just, to me, social media can be a really huge distraction in keeping us from doing the things or focusing on the things that we really need in our business to work. And last but not least, busy work. Busy work, updating your website for the 5th time, re-practicing your pitch, looking over that application that you put in for the 5th time before pressing send. This is just busy work that is keeping you from actually taking the steps that you need towards doing what it is that you truly want and desire to do. Again, this list of distractions isn't, it's limited. It isn't fully every single thing. But when you think of the gist of them, these 5 are typically what I see in myself sometimes and my clients. And so the action step that we want to take for this is to get focused and aligned. Alrighty, so we want to get focused. The biggest thing we want to get focused on is money generating task or money generating activities. And this is basically just the action of what's going to bring in money now or in the near future. And so instead of doing that busy work that I talk about, we want to focus on, okay, how can I follow up with this person who said that they may have been interested? Or how can I ask the last person who purchased my service for a testimonial or a referral? Or how can I not be doing busy work and actually be out there making those connections and showing up to the networking events and actually speaking to the guests that are present. Not the last meeting that we had in person, but the one before that, there were some major people in there. Did you stop and introduce yourself? Did you ask for a business card? Did you ask for a coffee date? Like, did you make a connection with the people in that room? These are the things that you want to follow up on. These are the things that are going to be more money generating activities than going back to your website updating again, or asking around and looking around, or focusing on what someone else is doing. These are not the action worthy tasks that you want to put in place to truly be able to reach where you want to go. Now, this list, as you can see, is not in fully, one size fit all. Some people are in different spaces and places in their business. Some people are ready to hire that first contractor or employee, but are too afraid to do so. Some people aren't quite there yet, and they're actually just need to be putting some automated systems in place to help them stop doing some of the repetitive tasks that are keeping them from actually getting the job done that they need to. Or some people are just in the space of, I need to follow up with that prospective lead. I need to follow up with that person I had a coffee chat with. They seem really interested in what I had to offer, or they seem like they knew someone that was really interested in what I have to offer. You don't want to keep focusing on revamping things or retouching up things. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. I would rather you put it out ugly than put it out perfect, because guess what? That we have this beautiful thing called edit, and we can edit it as many times as we want. I have a printout for you all that you all can download. I probably edited it about 20 times, but it was published first, and then I went back and made those edits for you all. The last thing that we want to focus on is doing tasks that are the last thing you want to talk about is not doing tasks that, well, what one of my previous coaches would mention, $10 or $20 task. If you are the CEO in your business and you are focused on, and again, not one size fit all, and you're focused on tasks that potentially a contracted assistant could be doing so that you could be out there generating more activities, you don't want to do that. Like, you don't want to be like, well, let me go and clean out my inbox. Actually, unless you're going to hunt for leads in that inbox, we are not spending time cleaning out that inbox. Not that that is not important, because it is, but we just want to make sure that we are really focusing in on the things that are most important for the business. And that's really different tasks at hand that really bring in the revenue immediately or in the near future. And so that might look like attending a networking, the next upcoming networking event. That might look like asking for the sale. That might look like following up. That might look like creating an SOP so you can get ready to pass these things off to an assistant that comes on maybe only 5 hours a week. That might look like automating those tasks that I talk about, or hiring a full-time employee. Everything looks different. Each business is very, very different. And so I, from standing where I am now, can't tell you what that action step needs to be. But I know if you think back to, all right, what did I do this week? What are the things Monday and Tuesday, money generating activities that can potentially bring in money maybe this week or next week or the week after? And that's not to just say, oh, we're so money hungry. No, that's just to say we want the business to grow so that we can create other opportunities for other people, like hiring employees or continuing to have free memberships, things of that nature, just different things like that are really going to impact how our business grows and how we ultimately impact our community and families. All right, now here is the best part for me. I really, really, really appreciate you all sticking with me this far. If you've dropped questions, I have not paid attention to them, but I will answer them towards the end. Please gather them. I'm sorry?
I'll help with that, Arielle. I'll help moderate what we've got in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Awesome. All righty. So this slide is so near and dear to me. This is what I'm most excited about. I left this to the end. It should have been at the beginning, but I left this to the end because scientifically proven, the last thing you hear, you remember more often than the things that you hear at the beginning. So for me, I think every single business, I don't care what you do. I don't even care who you serve. Your strengths should be aligned with all of the strategies in your business. That goes for the strategies in your sales department, the strategy in your marketing department, the strategy in your delivery, your strategies in your business model. All of that should be surrounded around your strengths until you can hire someone who has the opposite strengths for you, and they actually have your they're good at your weaknesses are their strengths. Sorry about that. So if you don't like doing something particularly, let's say, for instance, you're not a huge fan of speaking in front of stages or speaking in front of audience, similar to what I'm doing, do not make this your marketing strategy. I don't care if it worked for everyone that you know. It likely isn't going to be something that you desire. It might not even be a skill set that you possess. And so it would actually be doing a disservice to yourself if you're going out bumping up against the wall doing this marketing strategy that this guru told you you must do in order for your business to work. Here's the news. Everything works. There's not a thing that does not work, because here we wouldn't have heard about it if it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, every single thing works. You just have to figure out what works for you. And the way that you do that is by identifying what are your strengths. If you haven't already taken a personal assessment, I urge you to do so. They are amazing. They tell you so much about yourself. The one that I particularly like the most is Strength Finders, because it really does focus on the talents that you possess and not necessarily the weaknesses. They are listed and they are there, but it isn't the focal point. And I spent a lot of time in life trying to perfect my weaknesses instead of pouring into the talents that I have and making them true strengths. And so I just highly encourage you all to really take the opportunity to think through, like, all right, what are my strengths or talents, as strength finders like to position it, and how can I make them better? How can I incorporate them in my business through how I deliver, how I delivered my offer, through how I market my offer, how I sell my offer, and how my business model is set up. Listen, I hear people tell me all the time, well, I must do social media. I love social media. I took a year off from social media and made the same amount of money that I made the year before. Social media is not the only way to make money in your business. I'm not knocking it, because it's a wonderful way that plenty of businesses have succeeded through it, but it's just to say that you don't have to. It's not a must. If you like Trader Joe's, 0 social media presence. And they are booming, and they are all over. They're not just in Florida. They are all over. And they have used no social media. That is not, again, not for me to encourage you to say that you need to not do social media or you shouldn't, or you should do what I did. That's for you to say like, oh, wow, there are opportunities out there where I can find something that I currently have the strength in to advertise and market my business. I don't have to do it the way that I've seen everyone else do it. And it hasn't been working for me. And now I know why I have not been operating in my strengths. So you really want to consider, in addition to your strengths, your values. What are things that you value? The reason why the title said without sacrificing integrity, because if your integrity does not align with what you're doing, producing, or offering in your business, it is going to feel hard. It is going to continue to be stagnant because you're fighting against what you believe. And you're also fighting against what you don't believe in your business because you're trying to do what someone else said was the way to go about doing. Really take some time to sit down and outline like, what are my values? Like, what do I believe truly in my core? Like, what is a non-negotiable for me? What are these things that are important to me? Because that's a part of how you build out your business strategies. That's a part of how you effortlessly show up in your business without working harder. I am not on the team of no sleep. I don't believe in that. That is insanity. I need sleep. So I am team sleep. And if me getting sleep is going to allow me to produce more, that's what I'm going to go and do. But the way that I am able to get sleep is that I'm not constantly asking myself, hey, am I going up against my integrity? Like, is that something that I really don't believe in? Should I do it? No, it's an automatic no. I already know. The list is there. What am I not doing? What is a non-negotiable that I don't even need to think about? Boom, that's already listed out. Let me go down the list. If you're really contemplating, should I or should I not do this in my business, or why is the business so difficult, or why am I having such a hard time? You might want to go through and really identify like, okay, what is it that might not be in alignment with my values or my strengths? And so I just highly encourage you to take any assessment. I mean, I'm biased. I'm not getting paid for this. So Strength Finders makes me biased, but you want to just take one so that you really can identify who you are. So when you are building out your business model, when you are taking your marketing initiatives, when you are doing your sales and delivery, you aren't feeling like you're up against a war in your own business. Your business is working for you and not against you. So do yourself a favor, dig up that old personality assessment if you've taken it already and it might be old. Honestly, Strength Finders tells you that you can hold on to yours about 5 to 10 years, depending on where you were at that time. And if not, there are some other freebies also available. Here is what I feel truly allows women to build their very own business. This is an equation that I made up. Do not look for it anywhere because you won't find it. But this is what I truly found over the last 3 years working with women, both as a coach, as a marketing consultant. What I found that when women do these particular things in their businesses, they are able to sleep more peacefully. They are able to have more profitable business, and their business is set up for sustainability. And that's basically what I talked about today. So making sure you are aligning your business strategies with your personal strengths, keeping that growth mindset, and making sure that you're focused on those money generating activities, and always, always, always make sure that you are using math. Okay. We have an exercise and we do have time for it. So I'm excited. I tried to rush through everything to make sure that we have time for it. So how can we start scaling today? How can we make our history today? How can we look back in Women's History Month in 2025 and be like, this was the day I did this and it made this difference and the trajectory of my business changed? I want you to pull out a pen, a paper. If you're not really a pen and paper kind of girl like me, iPad, notes, anything that you can. And I want to see you write down from the things that I talked about today, what can you implement immediately in your business? Just one thing, not all of them, because that's going to be overwhelming. But what is the one thing that you can implement in your business to really get you started on that trajectory? Is it aligning your marketing with your strengths? Is it charging more? Because I'm pretty sure you probably are charging too low. Is it, reconsidering how much it does take to actually be able to provide the offer that you have? Going back and writing out the math for that. We have about 10 minutes to spare, I believe, before we need to jump in to the question section of things. So I just want to give you an opportunity to sit quietly and think to yourself, like, what in my business feels hard? What in my business feels like I've been putting all this effort in and has not been working? Dissect why. Here's the time for you to do it right now. Don't save it for later. Don't turn your cameras off and run. Really, really take the time right now to think, let me look at my prices. Are they accurate? Or is this price built out of fear because I was afraid if I charged you more, the person would have said no? And if that's the case, write down each step of what it takes to produce it and then come back and do the math. I also have, for the strengths finders, for those who have not done it, I have a strength finder audit. I have a strengths powered audit, business audit that you can download. It should be getting dropped in the comments now. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you, Anaya. We love Anaya. So yeah, don't focus too much on that. That is just something, if that, let's say for instance, you don't have anything that you're working on hard now, you don't have anything that you want to scale now, and everything that I talked about was something that redundant and you've already heard it, then you can definitely jump into that exercise. I just wanted to make sure that you had it. Then you can jump into that download, but the exercise right now should be really figuring out what in my business is hard, identifying why it might be hard, and figuring out ways to reposition how you're doing that thing. I'm going to sit quietly because I'm actually going to do it for myself too. And feel free to drop it in the comments. If you want to chat through it, I'm open to that too. If you want to share it, this is a safe space. Feel free to drop some of the things that you might be struggling with in the comments right now. If you're like, man, this is a struggle, but I don't quite know how I can overcome it. Thank you so much for sharing, Sasha. Those who are still working, please keep working. I'm going to just chime in and give a little feedback here. So she wrote, balancing time for product development with managing customer relationships. So I'm not familiar with your time, and I'm not sure if you are either. So a time audit is something that will allow you to really track what you've been doing, how are you using your time, and has it been as effective as you want it to be? And so I would encourage you for the next week or so to track down everything you do. And I mean, from the moment that you wake up all the way down to the time you go to bed. And, boundaries are important. For me, I don't work after a certain time. If that is included, make sure that you're writing that down also, making sure that you're paying attention to that commitment that you made to yourself. But what I will say, and what I have found with balancing time for me, is making sure that in my days that I do have a longer chunk of time to work, the first 2 hours of that day is dedicated to my business. So not my clients, my business. So that is, if that does look like product development, I've scheduled Tuesday and Thursday, first 2 hours of the day before I start working on my client's stuff or working on my personal stuff or whatever it might be. And let's say it might not be 2 hours at the beginning of the day. Let's say you might have a 9 to 5. So, maybe an hour after, everyone goes down. If you do have kids, I don't want to assume anything, but really committing to yourself, like, I am not shifting this all around. Like if you get a call and someone's like, hey, can I meet at 9? And it's like, if that's your time, no, you can't, because you've already committed to yourself, to giving yourself that time to work on that product development. And then managing the customer relationships, that comes after, you know what I'm saying? So if the product development is what's going to lead you to being able to give that product offer, put that product offer out so that you can bring in more money, to satisfy more customers, and that's the order of things. Now, some people that might also look like, for some folks, just in case there's other ones in here, that might also look like, okay, my thing that I want to do is talk to more people, but I'm so busy in my client work, working on my client work. Same goes for you. First hour of the day is dedicated to you reaching out and sending emails to folks, connecting with people on social media, if that's the way that you go about doing that. Sending out that ask if there's someone who showed interest. If it's not an ask for the physical sale, maybe it's an ask for a referral. Do you know someone? My network is only this small, and these are the amount of people that I know, and I've told them all. Can you tell your network now? And so those are different opportunities in what you can do, making a commitment to yourself to put that time on your calendar. That might not be Monday through Friday. They might just be Tuesday and Thursdays or just Wednesdays, but making that commitment to yourself to not move that around. All right, for my consulting business, I need to do an update time study. Oh, love that. So I know that rates I get charged is correct. That I charge are correct. Low, high, is also needed.
Arielle, do you mind if I actually throw one of the questions from the chat out at this point?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And for those still working, please feel free to keep working. I really want to see you take action on this call. So, but yes, go ahead.
Fabulous. So Sarah Matthews asked, she wants to know, what exactly does asking for the sale sound and look like?
Ooh, I love that. Sarah, do you want me to give just any example, or do you want to maybe come up and tell me what it is that you offer so I can give a specific example?
Hey, Arielle, thanks so much for your presentation. Yeah,
Sure.
I'm curious because I have the price points, I have the math, I'm doing some of the marketing. I don't know that I'm great at that. Probably have to outsource that. But I'm really good about maintaining relationships with my clients, but they never seem to convert to sale. They like the product, they like what we've done before, but when it comes to signing on the dotted line, I don't know where my skill sets are here that I need to improve. So I wanted to hear what your expertise would say for asking for the sale.
Absolutely. So my question for you is, they are familiar with the offers that you have.
They're very familiar with my products and my offers. Yes.
Okay. And you have actually said, hey, will you sign up, buy, or purchase this thing?
Well, I've given them a quote. So, I quoted them what they want. They're excited about what we would do. And then it just sits there.
Okay. So did you do a sales call with them? Like, was it I had a call with them? They asked me what they told me about their problems. I kind of shift through what it was. And then I told them.
Call, exactly.
a
And that's how I
discovery
come up with the quote. And I
call.
will
Okay.
say, so my price points, this is how I run my business, because sometimes I have a business that is, they've got the cash, right? They've got the
Mhm.
purse.
Mhm.
I will up my price point for somebody who's got the cash so that we can actually service people who might not have that bigger budget later on. So we do have that kind of sliding scale, if you will.
Okay. So with the sliding scale, I totally understand it. I have done it, but it can cause some confusion. And it can,
No,
and
nothing knows that except you now.
okay. Okay, well, for you, I'm not talking about for them. I'm talking about for you. It can cause a little bit confusion. It can be a little difficult because let's say you get on a call with someone who does have the bag, but you don't know they have the bag, or they misspoke about the bag and you've now offered something that they quote unquote can't afford. You hear what I'm saying? Like, I think that sometimes.
Yeah, so I've put a quote out there. I've asked them
Mhm.
what your budget is. I've worked
Okay.
the budget. I've put the quote together knowing that they've given me a budget.
Mhm.
And then I don't hear from them again. And I followed up, hey, do you want to continue with this? And that's it.
Okay. And so for the quote, then for the service, and I'm sorry that I'm asking all these questions, but for the service, for the person that you may quote a little bit smaller, do they get less services for that?
Never. No. Everybody gets great service, but
Okay.
they, so I'll give you an example. So if CDC is my client, well, now, CDC is my client. They usually have the purse strings.
Mhm.
I will produce whatever they need with a higher price point for them. And then I'll use that same product and offer it to a local health department at a lower cost.
Okay. So I, with the downloadable, I have 10 spots for people to sign up. I want to talk to you offline, just a little bit more dive in about that, but specifically about the sale. A lot of the times when I'm on the call, I try to get the yes on the call. Not let's talk about it later. I try to get that commitment on the call. And so as you're going through the sales call, making sure you're saving space for you to identify, are they interested? Are they excited? Have I asked them the question, how important this is to you on a scale of 1 to 10 to overcome this problem that you have? And they're on the higher level of that 1 to 10. I'm asking for that sale on the call. And sometimes
Can you tell me what that sounds like, Arielle? I'm sorry to interrupt you, because all of those things I've done, they're excited, they're ready, blah, blah, blah. So I'm a client for you. Tell me, how do you ask for the sale on the call?
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just say, we went through all the things that you discussed. You've said A, B, and C. I really feel like I have the most effective opportunity for you to sign up and execute on this problem that you just discussed. How important is it for you to get started on this yesterday? How important is it to you for you to overcome this problem? And they're usually like, 10, like they're usually like a 10. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's jump right into what this offer looks like. And it's going to be customized to you. This offer consists of 3 important things that it consists of: making sure you're thinking about everything that they said on the call earlier so that it ties into like, oh, she said this, here's why it's important, here's why it's important. And the price point is X. Quiet. I say nothing. I don't justify my price. I don't explain to them why that's my price. I'm quiet. I'm a mouse. I'm sitting, awkwardness goes, they're staring at me, I'm staring at them. I have 2 4-year-olds. We could play this game all day. So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting on it. And then they'll come back and they'll say either, yes, let's do it, or actually, I need to think through it. And I'll be like, hey, may I ask what might be the objections? So we kind of could try to work through that right now if you have the time. And they'll be like, well, it really isn't an objection. I just kind of got to look through the money that I have. And I'm like, all right, cool, awesome. I have space on my calendar for 15 minutes on Friday. Let's say it's Wednesday or Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. I have to schedule my calendar on Friday for 15 minutes. If we can meet at that time to just go over like, what you may have found or, anything that you may have gone over, any questions you might come up to, it's just a quick call. I would love to put you on there. And it's usually always yes.
And a samplerism that you can also bring to that, if you're worried that you might wimp out of doing the ask that Arielle is saying, which you absolutely need to do and commit to doing, is to actually open your call with telling them that you're going to do that, right? When you're setting that agenda and asking for the permission, That can sound a lot of different ways. And I bet Arielle has a good script for that. I highly recommend doing some deeper coaching with her. But that could sound like, last time we spoke, we discussed A, B, and C challenges that you're working through, and I've developed this proposal for you. We're going to go through this together step by step. I want to confirm with you every step of the way that I'm actually solving the problems that you needed, or that this meets your expectations. So you're getting those buying cues. And I'd like to ask for your permission, because I know we have this great rapport, and I'm worried that you might not want to hurt my feelings, right? I like to ask for your permission to get a clear yes, if this makes sense for you to do business, or a no, understanding, that I don't want to pressure you into this if it's not a good fit. Can you commit to doing that with me by the end of the call? And they might say something like, well, actually, I have this procurement process, or there's someone new who's coming in that needs to be involved in the sale, right? But everything Arielle's saying, and then you can tack your own feet down and force yourself to do that ask at the end by telling them at the beginning that you plan to.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much.
Angel, I think you have something.
Oh, yes, pretty please.
Yes, jump in here.
All right, so I have, first of all, thank you so much. This has been very insightful. Madam CJ Walker is my idol. I'm like, if she could be a millionaire, I could be too.
Absolutely.
I'm finally trying to charge my worth, and I'm getting a lot of negativity. I'm still doing small things for friends and family, but when it comes to these multi-million-dollar businesses that want my work, I'm not going to do it for pennies. And I find that even if I start off and do a few things, small things for free, they just keep wanting more free things. Or more recently, what I really want advice on, my sales guy brought a client who, her current situation, she has over $1 million in overdue invoices, and she also doesn't have any like automated billing. So she's got another who knows how much out there, right? So she needs my services. We met 3 times, met her staff, did an AI training. She paid me a deposit. When I presented her with the whole thing of what it would take, I did it in 3 parts. The first phase was $50,000, which is not too much when you consider everything she's doing is manual. So it would have been a lot of data entry. Everything is underneath HIPAA, so we couldn't just use an automation to just do everything, right? The second part of the process, she wanted custom software for her employees to use. That was like $150, and then the third phase, aftercare, was like 30 or 40. So the total project was just under $300K. She got mad at me. She said that I was asking for a house. And of course I was calm, but then she went to the sales guy and was like, she's trying to get over on me. She just has Indians working for her, which is very insulting. I've worked very, very, very hard. And while I do outsource sometimes, 90% of what I do is me, my vision, my hard work, and a few subcontractors that I used to work with at Deloitte because I trust them. So I don't know how to proceed. Of course, I've sent all these really nice messages. I haven't shown that I'm utterly pissed off, right? But I don't know. I sent her a happy birthday text yesterday. Like, what do I do? Like, because my pride is saying, walk away. Like, I don't want to be involved.
For starters, I'm terribly sorry that this has happened. But I will say this is a part of the experiences that we will come up against. And I don't want one person's opinion of your price to dictate what you should charge. What I will comment on is what you first said was, I noticed that once I gave them something free, they continued to want that. That is that is a part of the science behind customer buying behavior. If everything you put out is at a discount, when you sell something for full price, they're going to be floored by your statement. And so we want to be very careful on discounts. We want to be very careful on freebies. We want to be very careful on how we move in our business, because you're setting the example. Once you put it out there, that is what they're going to perceive. So that's that one piece. So the statement for that is to stop. Just stop. Stop offering it for free. You've done your due diligence. I'm sure you have examples of your good offers and your testimonials. You don't no longer need to offer anything for free. So we're done there. We're going to close the box on the freebies. The freebies are done. Speaking with, now going back to this person that you're working with, if in your heart it's telling you not to work with this person, I agree. You know what I'm saying? Like, I 100% agree. To have someone not only insult you, but to insult an entire culture is ridiculous. But secondly, I don't want you to lash out. I applaud you for keeping your composure and your grace for this person. And I would just bow out gracefully, personally, in my opinion. If my heart, body, soul already said it's a no-go, I don't want to do this, I would say, let's wrap it up here. It's been great. I've enjoyed this time spent with you, and, kind of walk away. I wouldn't continue to pursue it. I wouldn't continue to try to convince her why she should pay what she should pay for the services. If you've done the math, you've done the due diligence, and it sounds like a lot of work and a lot of time, the price is the price.
I appreciate that. And I absolutely agree as far as, heavy on the insulting a whole culture. I've had a few clients I've had to let go of because of that. And it's very frustrating because, like, I mean, obviously as a Black woman, I've had my own experiences with discrimination, but it's like, it's just frustrating to have to deal with it on so many other levels as well. Like, I'm just over it. So, but thank you for listening.
You're welcome. And you're not alone. And that's when I mentioned inside of the presentation, to set those non-negotiables. That is a non-negotiable for you. So it's nothing that you need to think about, nothing you need to spend a whole lot of time considering. It's a no, thank you. This person has hit the list of my non-negotiables. I'm no longer interested in partnering with them because it goes against my value and I don't want to be out of integrity. So I applaud you for making that decision, to make that choice, to walk away from a potential income, to not sacrifice what you believe in, your values and your integrity.
Yeah.
That means a lot. Thank you, everybody.
And we love Angel's in our Jacksonville chapter. She brings so much value. She really is expert in what she does. And so love to see that boundary setting. Safia brings a great question. She says, how do we prime our audience if we are planning to move from free to paid models for the sake of longevity and business survival?
I love this question. And so sometimes we do start out with, let's just say, for example, a YouTube channel or, a free Facebook group. And these are just very minimum examples, but where we are giving that free access, that free source. It is very likely and common for people to have a now tiered offer where, okay, here's where you can access me, my services, or what that might look like from a free standpoint in this group, where I chime in maybe once a week, or through my YouTube where I provide weekly videos about X, Y, and Z. But here's now an opportunity. And this is literally how you take it. A lot of people think it needs to be this beautiful, polished thing. I don't know if you have an email list, if that's how you're talking about your community, or if they're housed somewhere for free, but it's literally a conversation. Hey folks, I really have enjoyed this opportunity with you all. I am going to continue offering this service. It will look like this. And I'm now excited for opportunity for folks who want to dive a little bit deeper with me and want to work with me in this new way. And here's the opportunity. So it's really just a conversation. If that's an email, make it a conversation in the email. If that's a live, I'm sorry, Sophie, I just don't know how you're actually providing this current free service. So I'm just throwing out a couple of different things. If you want to chime in and tell me, I can give specifics. But people are more understanding than we think. We think it has to be this big grand gesture. We think it has to have all these beautiful red bows, and it's sometimes just as simple as a conversation. I'm super excited about an opportunity to partner with you on a deeper level, and it includes this. Oh, did she jump? Did she raise her hand?
Yeah, just jump right in there.
Okay, hi. Yeah, so I'm asking just from a place where we've always been offering freebies to the community in regards to tech education. And we're now at a place where we have to be sustainable on our own. So it's like we know that we are going to have to start charging people for certain resources, and we don't want to do that. But it's just, again, for our business to survive longer than, I mean, forever, hopefully is the goal, right? We just want to be able to prime people and not have them feel like, well, why are you taking this away from me? So, it's free and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, unfortunately, we're funding this off our own backs, and we can't do more without the revenue, essentially. So that's why I'm asking. And the way that I would be communicating would be first, like, I'm always thinking marketing, I feel like I need a whole PR run to announce these things. But I mean, right off the bat, it just starts off with email, and most likely, to your point, maybe a live video or recorded video and explaining why. But then it would be a case of we're moving to this model, but these are the additional benefits that you will be getting, and how we're making our offerings a whole lot better versus when they were free.
Absolutely. That is exactly what you would do. You would communicate via email. And I'm telling you, people are very understanding. I just heard what you said, and it totally made sense to me. Like, I once upon a time was offering this for free. I've now reached a point at which this service can no longer be free, but I want to continue to offer it in this level. Is there a possibility for you to still offer some version of free, so that maybe be the entry to them coming into a paid situation?
Absolutely. I think it'll come off to maybe we do a lot of in-person events, maybe that is staying free. But if you're wanting to progress and join the tech education cohort, or additional resources to help you, maybe it's mentorship in that sort of capacity, that would have to start being a paid situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly what you would say. Our events are, let them know. We still will continue to offer things for free in this capacity, and this is how it will be received. However, if you're ready to take action and really take that additional step, we now have this new amazing offer that is blank, 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 blank. I mean, obviously not word from word, but this is exactly what you said you're going to do. I would do it exactly like that. Be transparent, be vulnerable, and be honest. A lot of people are fearful for being vulnerable, but people trust people who are real, and not people who are trying to pretend that they have it all together. And so you being honest with this community that you've built, I believe that they trust you and already know that you wouldn't try to pull a wool over their eyes. Will there be some people who are disappointed? Absolutely. There's always going to be people who are disappointed. But your grace and the things that you're offering is still there to some extent. It has to look differently.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Safi, if you could shoot me a message when you send that out in LinkedIn, I would love to just keep you accountable for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. All right. Do you have any more questions?
While we wait for those questions, I am, if it's okay with you, Arielle, going to pull up our QR so they can connect with you directly.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
And we'll be putting the links that you've shared as well in the roll-up email. Oh, look at that. You already have it there. That's perfect.
Yeah. I didn't put my LinkedIn there, but I'll drop that in the group, or you can add that to the email. Just
we'll add that to the email. Yeah. That's perfect.
Yes. Awesome. I think I did see another question in here. I think I see that one.
I see some interesting commitments, and maybe this will spark some conversation. I'll read these out loud for us. Okay. Leslie Hairston shares, for my consulting business, I need to do an updated time study so that minimally I know that the rates I charge are correct, low, high, etc. Also need to break down how much time I am dedicating to areas that could be delegated to my admin instead.
I love that. I love that. I absolutely agree that time study is something that is secret, and it's really helpful for you to identify where you are, but really taking a look at, especially if you're like low, high, et cetera, your charges, your rates are all over the place. I wanted to make that comment earlier. If the service is valued at the rate that you're charging, someone mentioned charging my worth. I want you to reframe from saying that, because your worth is separated from what you're charging. You are worth it alone, all by yourself, doing absolutely nothing at all, just because you are you. The value of the offer's worth is how I would love to hear you all position that. And so when you're thinking about the value of the offer and you're breaking that down, it's really important to consider all of the essence of the offer. And I absolutely agree. Figuring out what can I delegate and give away to my admin so that I am out doing more of the connection-based things to bring in more folks.
And Brandy, I saw your hand pop up. Was that a question or a
no, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, no, that was a mistake. I'm sorry, but thank you so much for what you're sharing. I'm just sitting here listening, so I apologize for that.
No apologies needed. We wanted to make sure we got you. Jessica Green shares, I've spent 15 plus years in healthcare operations and leadership and have broad experience. My biggest struggle is figuring out what I want to offer as my core focus before I outline my offering and pricing. Ooh, so relatable.
Yes.
I think the strength assessment is a good place to start so I can align my offering and strategy with my strengths.
I love that so much. And I absolutely agree. Starting with the strengths assessment is going to be really, really helpful for you, especially because you have 15 plus years in the healthcare operations and leadership. So a lot of that stuff just probably is just second nature. So you're just doing it out of flow. But the strengths assessments will actually allow you to separate, like, what are you doing naturally and what are you overcompensating for to do, because it might actually be a weakness of yours. And so you can focus and lean more into, well, I'm talented in this specific area, and within the healthcare operations and leadership role, I enjoyed this, and this the most. And so I'll task you, Jessica Green, to also add, in addition to that, the things that you enjoyed the most in these roles, and the things that brought you the most joy and impact would probably be something that I would also write down, because in a role like that for that many years, I'm pretty sure you've worn so many different hats. But I would love for you to think about the things that are just has been most exciting about those roles, and consider that as well. And I absolutely agree that should all be done before offering and pricing.
And then let's see. Again, for any of you who want accountability on this, you should book some time with Arielle. Sarah has a hand up and Angel have a hand up. Just jump right in.
Go ahead, Angel. I'll wait.
So you're so sweet. I was just hoping to ask, what about other branches? I have a friend in Raleigh who is very interested in what's going on. Like, can she join the Florida going on? Who should she talk to or reach out to? Is it you, Rachel?
The WTE team?
Yes.
Oh, love that. Thanks. You can send her my way, and then I'll also send out that link to join the membership as well, which is free and can be sent to anyone.
That's very exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, thanks again, Arielle. This is a quick question. I hope it's a quick question. So I had a business coach that recommended to improve on my marketing. So I took a couple of marketing classes, and honestly, it's not my favorite thing to do. But I don't know at what point do I say, let's go ahead and hire someone to do that, because I don't know what I would be hiring them to do. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I know that was one of your points. Make sure you're going out for someone else with the expertise. So help me understand, at what point do you say, well, how do you hire that individual to do that marketing? Or when do you know that you need that?
So that is a meaty question, and
Okay.
I probably wouldn't be able to answer all of it right now, but it does have a lot to do with the revenue that you're bringing in your business. Like, financially, can I support this? And not like fearfully, but like truthfully, does the math show where I can support bringing on someone for 5 hours a week? But I absolutely agree. I did this myself. I brought on a marketing assistant to help with my marketing. And I didn't have any SOPs or anything in place for her. And so she was floundering and I was floundering. So learn from my mistakes.
Yes.
And actually identify, like, okay, this is what I am currently doing, and this is what I want this person to take over. And so creating like that SOP and putting that in place so that when the person comes on, yeah, you'll still do some training and you'll still do some educating, but it won't be like you both staring at each other trying to figure out what is it that I should actually be doing.
And do you have a metric to evaluate whether or not that person is adding to the value? Or are you looking at, like, how are you measuring the marketing strategies that you've done? And how are you aligning that with, how are you actually seeing if those marketing strategies are engaging in a conversion or sale?
I absolutely agree. I do have a metric. I have a calculator that I have for my business, but I track every single commitment that I make, whether that's for a hired person or even an activity that I'm doing. Like, okay, I attended this specific event, or I paid for this particular annual a subscription. How have I rendered my return on that investment?
Yeah, I think so. I feel very comfortable in my space, in my expertise space, but I think this marketing space is so new to me. It's not my expertise. So evaluating it, I feel almost like, okay, I'm not really sure how to evaluate that. Do you have a resource for that, or something like an?
I do actually. If you download the Strength Finders resource audit that I've dropped in there, Anaya, can you drop that one more time for me? If you download that, it'll automatically send you that resource. But we also attached to that resource is a free call, and we can talk a little further about it. Now, I will tell you that this resource isn't going to immediately fix all your problems. You kind of have to identify like how you want to market, what are the current strengths that you have in marketing, begin to do that marketing, figure out what's working in that marketing, and outsource. Now, if you already have the revenue and you're at whatever the number might be in your business where you can afford to hire someone out, you still need to know who. Because a marketing assistant can be someone that's just doing social media management, or it could be someone that's doing your PR, or it could be someone that's writing ads. It just really highly depends on, the service that you're offering, the ideal client that you're trying to reach, and how much of a budget that you actually have in the numbers. So you have to look at that across the board.
So I followed the prescribed. So the two main ones were like storytellers, and there was another one that was a high level. And I followed their structure of it. And I thought, okay, let me see how the return on investment for the time I've invested in putting together the social media posts. The social media is not my thing. The social media posts, the marketing, the emails, and I can't see the value in it. So of course I don't attach the value with somebody who's an expert in it, because do I spend this money and just see, or do I, I don't know where to go with that. So maybe I'll need to book a call with you, because this is I think when I'm in my expert zone, I'm pretty confident, but because this is somebody else's expertise, I'm not sure what it means and how to evaluate whether I need to make that investment. And now that I've done it, probably not the best, and I don't see the return on investment, I'm hesitant to invest in someone who's going to give me their, dog and pony show, and then I don't see it 6 months down the line, right?
I definitely agree. When it comes to social media management, I'll be 100% honest with you.
Yes.
When someone comes on board to work for you, you don't really see a return on that until about 6 to 9 months in.
Yeah.
You just don't. The algorithm, no one can control it. It is uncontrollable. It's out of your hands. You do not own it. And so it really will take time for the internet streets, what we like to call it, to learn know and like you. And so the time frame might be the issue. The mechanism might be an issue. You say you don't even like social media. So, that might be also an issue. What is another way that you can look to attain a client? You know what I'm saying? While you're consistently doing the social media posts and waiting for that time period to arrive, because I'll be honest with you. I don't expect the intern that I hired to have grave impact before the next 9 months, even though she will be posting consistently and doing things for me. It's just not realistic for you to be able to see.
Thank you very much, Arielle.
And if you don't, you're right. And I agree. And if you don't like it, you aren't having fun with it. And your audience won't be either. Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I would love to know what, if you want to write me on LinkedIn, what your Strength Finder and results are. I would love to know that. And it will tell you, it will tell you a lot about why you're struggling with this strategy. Let's see.
So we have just 8 more minutes left. So let's tackle one more. Angel, go for it.
I don't want to steal the last one from anybody. I know I've already talked. Nobody else had their hand raised.
Go for it.
Okay, all right. So I also have a love-hate relationship with social media, and so I was kind of weighing in my thoughts there. And I've recently, in the past few years, found a workaround that has worked for myself and for clients when it comes to essentially buying AI accounts. And some clients love it. Other clients are like, oh no, I'm a Christian. That's cheating. My personal view is that social media is a fake world. And when you're a business, it's really, really hard to get followers. And a lot of times people don't want to take you seriously unless you have a few thousand followers. So I guess wanted anybody's opinion on it.
On using AI personas in social media, or just using AI in general?
Oh, sorry. On paying for AI accounts to follow you and interact.
Oh no, Arielle is our expert here, but I'm also a CMO, and it is not in the long run going to give you the performance boost that you believe it will, because the companies that run these platforms are savvy, right? And they're monetizing your attention. And so you will start to get pop-ups from them. We've noticed automated behavior. They will start noticing that your followership has a large tendency to have those profiles with automated behavior, and you will be punished in the long run in the algorithm. Algorithms are where I kind of live, and what my sweet spot has been with my employer and the work that I've done with WTE and social. But Arielle, I want to turn it over to you for your thoughts.
I absolutely agree. It isn't favorable. I mean, it's not, and it's also not the first time it's been done. So we see how it turned out last time, where a lot of these counts went awry, and it wasn't impactful to the people who paid for it. So for me, it's just not something that I personally see it being successful in the long run. It's a short-term win. And the one thing that I highly encourage everyone is, you are not looking for one-time sale. You are looking to have irrational, committed clients that are going to buy from you over and over and over again and tell everyone about you. And so that one-off sale isn't worth it in the long run.
Yeah, that's well said. You're going to grow your followership through getting aligned in the way that Arielle has explained to you, right? You want the authentic engagement there that is true to who you are and your vision for your business. And it does take consistency. It takes attention to metrics. So you need to be considering not your vanity metrics, which might be followers, but your reach and your engagement on a social post, right? Those are real metrics. How far did it go? How much of that reach was my existing followership versus new eyes? And how many people are engaging on it now, which means that I'm actually touching something their world, right? There's something that is relevant enough for them that it sparks that stop the scroll moment. And it takes practice, right? And enlisting and outsourcing experts, as Arielle has said. But I know that all of you are going to follow up with her. You're going to leverage her amazing expertise. And come this time next year, we're all going to be at new revenue benchmarks together. So thankful to you, Arielle. And speaking of social media marketing, can I be real tacky and ask us to hop on camera so that we can do the screenshot group photo?
Yes, please. I would love for everyone to hop on camera, even if it's for a moment.
All right. Let's see. Do you mind dropping the screen share so that we get all the lovely smiling faces? All right.
And Kathy, I see your question. If you want to shoot me a message on LinkedIn, we can talk about it. I don't know if you grabbed one of the free spots or not, but we can definitely talk through that VIP day that you're uncertain about how to charge.
So we're counting down 3, 2, 1. Be sure your eyes on your camera. Big, lovely smiles. All right, my friends. Thank you for joining us. Round of applause to Arielle. I mean, really amazing, applicable. I'm feeling all the anxiety of all the things that I know I'm supposed to be doing, that Arielle is giving me that kick in the pants to go do. I will follow up with all of you with a recap email, with Arielle's LinkedIn, with the download link to that CTA resource, and hopefully the recording for this. If you accepted the calendar invite that went out for this, Google's automatically going to send you that, right?
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all for being here. I'd love connections. So if you want to connect over on LinkedIn, I would be happy for us to connect over there as well as in the group. If you have not joined this amazing group, please do.